So here's my story. It was Valentine's Day 2015. I had everything planned out to give my wife the best day ever. I was going to cook her a sweet candlelight dinner. And so I woke up feeling excited, feeling happy, and looking forward to the day. I dressed up, had my breakfast, and then I walked to work. Because back then, work is within walking distance. I got into work at 9 a.m., turned on my computer, and I do the first thing every corporate employee would do: check my email. Everything looks fine and normal until I noticed one particular email that stood out. It was an email from the Chief Technology Officer, or CTO for short. Now, I do know who the CTO is, but we hardly talk, so it is strange for me to receive an email from him. But what's more interesting is the content of the email. The email was not for me. I was just CC'd in along with 3 other people, including my then manager. And I still remember what it says exactly. I do not know how we made this big mistake, and frankly speaking, I do not know how we are going to fix it. And this email was sent to me the day before I left work for a project I was not involved in. I had absolutely no idea what he was talking about, so I played it cool and ignored it. Not long later, a window popped up, prompting me to re-enter my password, and strangely enough, it failed to authenticate me. And after that, my then manager walked up to me and asked me if I'm ready for my monthly catch-up. You know, the things that managers do to check up on you, to see how things are going, and if you have any obstacles. It's all good. But we did not go to our usual meeting room, no. Instead, I was brought into another room with, surprise, the CTO sitting in there waiting for me. And then I'm given the news that my position has been made redundant due to a restructure, and I have to pack all my things right now and leave. There are no goodbyes whatsoever. They just want me out. This is what being made redundant feels like. They completely, in my opinion, disrespect you because they need to save themselves first. And I get that. It is human nature to be selfish when desperate. But coincidentally, I was the newest member to the team. So, do you really think I got made redundant because of a restructure, or someone made a big mistake and they just needed to find someone to be the scapegoat, to take the blame? Welcome back. My name is Kevin and I'm an independent app developer. I have built hundreds of apps, with dozens of them featured on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. And several of them are in the top 10 paid apps multiple times, with some of them getting the #1 top paid app in the App Store. Now, what I told you about me being made redundant is true. I was made redundant a few years ago, and up till today, I can still remember what it feels like. Now, I'm telling you not because I want self-pity or anything, but because recently I've been made redundant again. Only this time, it feels a little bit different. You might be wondering, didn't I say I was an independent app developer? How can I be made redundant again? Yes, that's true, but app development is a side hustle, a side business of mine that I have built over the years to generate me passive income. I consider app development a great success of mine. Having said that, I do have a 9-to-5 job as a project consultant, or used to have one until I got made redundant a few months ago. But the experience this time is different because I got made redundant due to the coronavirus pandemic. And I'm sure this pandemic has affected many people as well, not just me. So to be made redundant during these bad times is completely understandable and acceptable, at least to me. I believe that there's always something to learn from an unfortunate event, and there is something to learn as well from being made redundant. So let me share with you 3 things I learned from this experience and what did I do about them. Number 1, my main source of income was compromised. Look, when I was delivered the news about my position being made redundant, I was sad, angry, and scared at the same time. The first thing that went into my head was to beg them to rethink, to reconsider their decision. And to be honest, the reason I was feeling that way is not because I love the job. Even if they were to rethink, the relationship has already been damaged. I would be looking for another job anyway. I was afraid because of all the commitments I had at that time. I lost my only source of income, and the bank is not going to pity me and defer my mortgage payment. My bills are still going to continue coming in. I still gotta eat because I don't want to starve myself to death. It is like a domino effect where your only source of income is the epic center of them all. Once it crumbles, everything else follows after. So after I learned that, I kind of lost trust and loyalty for the companies I work for, with a few exceptions because there are good companies out there to work for. But more importantly, I learned that I cannot rely on one single source of income. I gotta diversify and create multiple streams of income. I learned not to put all my eggs in one basket. That turns out to be one of my best decisions because it was then that I started focusing on myself rather than others and built up my app side business to where it is today. Which is why when I got made redundant the second time, I wasn't scared, I wasn't afraid. I simply shift my focus to my other works and build them up with the spare time I have now. Also, if you are a parent, then you are probably going to be more afraid and try your best to avoid being made redundant. I did not have any kids when I first got made redundant. But now that I do have kids, it gives me more reason to not only protect myself, but also protect my kids because they rely on me to put food on the table. And that is the more reason I cannot rely on just one source of income. Number 2, I have no control over my own financial situation. The one big lesson I learned from this experience is at the end of the day, my income source is only as good as the company's performance. If they don't perform well, I get no bonus, no promotion, no pay rise. If they do perform well, I get no bonus, no promotion, no pay rise. What I am trying to say is, it is completely up to them to determine if I deserve an increment or not. True, if I work hard, which I do by the way, then I increase my chances of getting a promotion, a pay rise, or a bonus. But it is still up to them to decide whether I deserve it or not. It is completely out of my hand. If I accidentally offended the wrong person, there goes my promotion, my bonus, my pay rise, or even my job. And speaking of who deserves what, when a company performs well, the profits are going to be shared with the shareholders first, always. I think that is perfectly fair. Next, the board of directors. Again, I think that's fair too. Then comes the rest, which to me is a little bit of a gray area. There's absolutely no way anyone would say, that person worked really hard. That person outworked me, so he or she should deserve more bonus than I do. From my experience, it's always the person who socializes most or the person who can play the office politics who will be considered to get an increment first because they get themselves noticed. And if you are working in a large corporate, then it gets even harder to get noticed. Unfortunately, I'm not someone who can play office politics, so by default, I'm at the very bottom. I'm the type who comes into work, set goals for myself, and aim to finish it by the end of the day. What can I say? I'm a nerd. But in most people's eyes, I can appear to be unfriendly. I can try to fit in, but to me, it is quite tough because I am an introvert. The way I say it is, I get paid to do my job, and that's what they get, a job well done for the money they paid me. But then in return, makes me miss out a lot because I'm not sociable. Number 3, job security just isn't secure after all. I've changed about 6 jobs in the past 11 years of my career, and each time in a different industry. Because I like to learn, I like to see how companies run from small scale to medium scale to large scale companies. And from there, I get many insights and many experiences to be able to tell what works and what doesn't. And in those years, I've gone through 4 restructures and survived being made redundant twice. And it is the same thing every single time. They come in, they get brought into a room, they get out, pack their things, and leave. And in some cases, they're not even allowed to pack their things because the company fears they might start damaging their assets or formatting some drives or something, all due to anger and frustration. So they are told to go home, calm down, and come back another day to pack their belongings, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. But the worst thing is, the ones who gets made redundant the most are the ones who are most loyal to the company. And I'm not talking about 5 or 7 years loyalty. I'm talking about 20 to 30 years working for the same company. That's 20 to 30 years of loyalty. And after seeing all this and experiencing it myself, I honestly do not believe in job security, and I do not want to leave my own fate in the hands of others. Because I've got to survive, and companies can just turn my life upside down in a matter of minutes. And I personally will not be happy to rely on others to determine my own fate. Look, to be fair, as an app developer, I am also relying on Apple and Google's platform. They can easily introduce a new rule and affect my business just like that, which they did in some way. But that is why we need multiple sources of income so that if one goes down, we can easily pull ourselves back up. Also, just to clarify a little bit more, there's no harm in working as an employee in a job for your entire life. There are people I know who really love climbing the corporate ladder and they prefer slaving for others over themselves. And if that's what you like, that's great. My advice to you is just make sure that your job loves you as much as you love your job. So that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something out of my experience. If you haven't been made redundant before, I sincerely hope you will not have to go through it for your entire career. If you have been made redundant, don't be discouraged or stressed out. Sometimes things happen for a reason, and sometimes you just need to look from a different perspective. If you'd like to share your experience, please leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, do give a like and consider subscribing for more weekly videos such as this. Alright, thanks for watching this video, enjoy your day, and I will see you again in the next video.